We are slave to the world objects and world objective situation. The moment something is a little wrong, maybe the food is not all right or the situation is not all right, we immediately lose our self-seatedness. We lose our mind, temper. Is it not slavery? Is it mastery? Say, suppose somebody tells you some words which you do not like, or say abuses also. Immediately we start abusing the other person. Is it mastery over ourselves or slavery? Have you not got subdued by the abusive words of the other person? When we are reacting in an abusive manner, are we not slave to the circumstances? समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्या? आ रहा. But we still do it. Knowing also, even now after getting out of the hall you will do it. Or going home you will do it. So there is an ignorance holding us. Knowing also we will do. Who likes to have a disturbed mind? You tell me. When the mind is constantly blaming others, criticizing others, or finding fault here and there, are you satisfied with such a mind? Is it not making you tense? All the tensions are because of that. You don't like it, you don't like the tension. You ask how the tension can be relieved, you will say so many things, you will take so many medicines to get relieved of the tension, you will go to the psychiatrist and all. Nothing is necessary. Make your mind good, expansive, always loving others, always affection, always good things, expansive things. All the tensions will go. Look into the mind and find out, catch hold of the tensions. You will find everywhere this is sitting. But we are not able to get over it. Why? Because we are so overwhelmed by whatever has been practiced for years and yugas and all, that we are not able to get rid of it by applying the Viveka Buddhi. So this is called, the first sadhana is called Viveka. That means understanding what is Viveka Buddhi, what is that intelligence which is always anchored in our real identity. Identity means that is what we are. We are having a wrong identity now. To get anchored in the real universal identity, which is always loving, which is always expansive, which is always compassionate, all the qualities you will find in any dharma, whether it is Buddhism or even Islam, I think so. I have not read, but I think so. Everywhere this compassion, expansion is spoken of. They are our real identity. So once this Viveka Buddhi dawns, it will automatically lead us to Vairagya. Now hearing about Vairagya, everybody will dislike. वो तो हमारे लिए नहीं है, वो 60 साल होने के बाद है. वैराग्य अभी क्या करेंगे? वैराग्य का अर्थ ये नहीं है कि सब कुछ छोड़ के हम चले जाएंगे, वन में चले जाएंगे. उसको वैराग्य नहीं कहा जाता है. वन में जाके भी वो सेम टेंशन लेगा, ये ठीक नहीं है, कहाँ एक मकान बनाएंगे जहाँ ध्यान करेंगे. वो एक स्टोरी भी है योग वासिष्ठ में. सब कुछ देख के कहीं भी पसंद नहीं हुआ. फाइनली एक वृक्ष के ऊपर जाके एक छोटा सा कॉटेज बनाए, वहाँ जाके ध्यान करेंगे. वहाँ जाके वो हिलने लगा. ऐसा ही होता है. So Vairagya is not just leaving everything and walking off. Vairagya will not come by that. Vairagya is the property of our Atma, the self I am saying. Because whatever we do, whatever we think, the self never gets tainted by anything. Suppose your mind has coursed through how many sukha dukkhas, you know? Can you count? How many good thoughts, bad thoughts can you count? Still the mind, does it not remain in its pristine form? When you want, you can have it. Is it not so? It will course through everything, but really it never gets touched by anything. Otherwise, so many things we would not have been able to do. The mind is only just like reflecting. Suppose a sphatik hai. Sphatik matlab, suppose a crystal hai. Ekdam transparent. It's a very transparent crystal. You hold the red flower here. The crystal will look red. Is it not so? Huh? You remove the flower, the crystal will become absolutely transparent, clear. Not white, transparent, clear. So has it caught the color of the flower? But it was appearing red when you caught. You take another blue flower, the crystal becomes blue. Our mind is like the real mind, our consciousness is like the crystal. Not knowing that we are thinking it is always getting tinted by the red flower, by the blue flower, whatever the thoughts are coming, whatever the actions we are taking, it is always reflecting. Actually, it is only just simply reflecting, nothing else. It never gets tainted by anything. That is called the real Vairagya. I am telling this example only to explain that. That is the real Vairagya. Whatever you do, it will not touch you. That is what Atma is really. The Parakashta, you understand? Parakashta means the peak of anything. Why it is called Parakashta? In racing, you have, nowadays we put chalk mark, 500 meters. After 500 meters, we put a chalk mark when you cross. Like that, in previous racing, there used to be a kashta, there used to be a wood, a log placed at the end. So that is the ultimate level where you have to reach. So that is why the Parakashta has come from there. Now the Parakashta means the peak of height of Vairagya is the Atma, is the real Atma. Lesser than that is the space. Suppose even if there is a nuclear explosion, will the space get affected? Air may get polluted, but will the space get affected? Nothing will happen to the space. It never gets tainted by anything, any pollution we create, any sound we create, nothing. It never gets polluted by anything. So Vairagya is like that. As the Vairagya grows in our mind, we will find that there is a spatial feeling inside. Initially a sky-like feeling inside. Then that sky-like feeling will become spatial. People will abuse you, people will quarrel with you. You will find you will reflect everything. You will have lot of sorrow. You will feel sad. You will feel sorrow, but even then you will not get affected. Normally we think that spirituality means we will always be bubbling with joy. It is not that kind of a joy. The spiritual bliss or joy is called. It is a placidity of the mind which can take everything in its poise. If somebody misbehaves with you, you can take it. If somebody praises you, you can take it, not getting elated also. You will not get elated by the praise. You will not get depressed by somebody telling something wrong about you. You will think that why has it happened? Maybe my behavior, something went wrong. I will try not to hurt people later on. But why did he behave like that? Maybe something is wrong with him. Today he has some difficulty or something is wrong in his family. The thoughts will be like that, not a return abuse or return, condemnation, nothing. It will become space-like. That is called the Vairagya. Vairagya means an impersonality. All the sensations, as the whole universe is held by the space, but the space does not get affected by anything at all. So our mind holds the whole universe with all its plus and minus, including the criminals, the worst of criminals and the best of the good people also. It will host everybody without getting affected or tarnished by anything at all. That is the Vairagya. So if we really apply the Viveka Buddhi, if we really go on applying the Viveka, what is that? Getting anchored in our soul, in our innermost core, with those qualities, virtues which are coming from there. This must transform us more and more. These soul qualities we imbibe. Will we not become like soul? What is soul otherwise? So as we expand, as we become more loving, as we become embracing more and more whom we like, whom we dislike, everything, we become more and more like the soul. That means Vairagya dawns in us, the Vairagya increases in us. So Viveka Buddhi must lead to Vairagya. See, if a great scientist, or not great, a simple scientist can understand. If you explain to him, he will understand very well what is permanent, what is impermanent. He will understand very well because he has a sharp intellect, analytical intellect. You cannot call it Viveka. It might be very good discriminatory power according to English. But according to our Shastras, we won't accept that he has got Viveka unless he has Vairagya also. That is the result of Viveka must be Vairagya. One will lead to the others. If the Viveka, a great discriminatory power, does not lead to Vairagya, then the Viveka is only a theoretical viveka. It has no functional value. So in our Shastras, such viveka will be ignored. It is not viveka, it is only theoretical viveka. So when we really imbibe viveka, we cultivate viveka, automatically it should lead to vairagya. The second sadhana comes automatically. And when viveka leads to vairagya and viveka and vairagya both together, it is actually regenerative. Regenerative means as A increases, it helps B to go up. As B goes up, it helps A to go further up. That's called regenerative. A and B are regenerative. Like that, viveka and vairagya are regenerative. More and more viveka you grow, vairagya also increases. The more vairagya grows, viveka also becomes, because the clear thinking comes because of vairagya. It is our affectedness which does not allow us to think clearly. It is our ego that does not allow us to see things clearly, think clearly. So as the ego gets sublimated, vairagya means egolessness, impersonality. So the thinking, viveka also gets sharpened by that. As the viveka gets further sharpened, more vairagya it results in. It is always helping each other. And as both of them grow, they give rise to 6 kinds of Shatga Sampatti. Shatga means 6 kinds, 6-fold. Sampatti means wealth. 6 kinds of wealth. But mind you, in spirituality only we talk about inner wealth, not outer wealth. These 6 wealth, kinds of wealth, 6-fold wealth, all are inner wealth, not outer wealth. That is why they are called Adhyatmic. What are the 6 wealths? Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhana. These are the 6. Here also one will lead to the others. As Viveka and Vairagya together will lead to this 6-fold wealth, here also each is linked to the others. I will briefly touch upon. Shama means calmness of the mind, you can say. Poise of the mind. Actually it means when the mind becomes desire free. If you look into the mind is mostly disturbed by raga, dvesha, bhaya. Raga means whatever we like to cling to, dvesha means whatever we hate, and these two they generate bhaya also. That is, whatever we like, we try to hold on to, so we are afraid of losing it. Whatever we hate, we don't want to face it, so we are afraid of facing it. So that results in bhaya. So raga, dvesha, bhaya all are together. So that these are the cause of the disturbances created in the mind. Always they are creating the disturbance in the mind. So when raga, dvesha are treated, that is, neither you cling to anything nor you hate anything, then automatically the fear also reduces. So when all the 3 reduces, then the mind becomes cool, calm. You will feel a sort of, we call it Antashhitalata. You understand? Antashhitalata. Shitalata means coolness. Antaha means inner. An inner bath, as if जब आप ठंडे पानी से, ठंडा पानी से बाहर नहाते हैं तो एकदम ठंडा हो जाता है, वैसा अंदर में एक ठंडा सा फीलिंग होगा. That is called Shama. Dama means when the inner mind is like that, automatically your indriyas will be under your control. They will get disciplined. Unless the mind is agitated, the indriyas will not misbehave. When there is an antashhitalata, there is a calm inside, automatically the indriyas will perform very well, not misbehaving. So that is called Dama. It is a discipline of the outer indriyas, all the organs. Discipline organs. Shama, Dama. These two together will lead to Titiksha. Titiksha means unaffectedness. Shama, Dama, will it not automatically lead you to unaffectedness? You will not get affected by anything because you don't cling to anything. You don't have so strong desires or anything. So the affectation of the mind will be gone. Actually, it is defined as sahanam sarvadukkhanam apratikara purvakam. That is, if the situation is not all right, then also you will accept it. You may look for redressal this way, that way, but you will not get affected. Suppose the society is not behaving all right. You can lead a great revolution also. You can sacrifice your life also. But in that process, you should not be affected. You will lead the revolution not getting affected. You are doing it for the society. The work has to be done, you are taking up the work, but not out of your affectation. Suppose something is wrong here, things are not orderly, we have to set it right. So it does not mean that if everything is disorderly, you accept it. Not that. Not getting affected by the unpleasant situation is the titiksha. Then you can do anything. You can set right the situation and you will be able to do it much better also, because you are not affected by the situation. Is it not so? If you get affected, you will not be able to. Even managing your own children, if you get affected by their behavior, your shasana will never be proper. You will not be able to correct the children. Only when you can remain unaffected, oh, acha, this has happened, why is he behaving like this? There must be this reason. You will try to approach through knowledge, ask him, talk to him and try to set right. It will be much better. So, shama, dama, titiksha. Next comes uparati. Uparati. Rati means reveling in something. Normally our rati is in outside. Reveling in any outside enjoyment, whatever is pleasing to the senses, etc., they are called rati. Uparati means withdrawal from such indulgence in the outer world or reveling in the outer world. Now this happens automatically. Out of this shama, dama, titiksha, it happens automatically. Why? Because parallelly one thing comes, that they have not mentioned here. But what comes is atmarati. Atmarati means? Reveling in the soul. Reveling in one's own within. Now will not atmarati automatically come? As I explained Viveka and Vairagya, that means you are getting more and more anchored in the soul coordinates. So automatically atmarati will come. Your love will not be directed to one person or two person. You are sitting and simply the love is flooding you, overflowing. So will you not have the rati? Am I clear? You have to think deeply. You simply sit and radiate love for all. You will become blissful. So much of rati will be there. Now, because this love is a property of the soul, expansion is a property of the soul, compassion is a property of the soul, embracing all is a property of the soul, unification is a property of the soul. Whenever you revel in these qualities, it becomes atmarati. That is, you revel in your soul. Because you revel in your soul, you don't look for any other rati outside. Vishaya rati, you don't look for anymore. So uparati means withdrawal. Now these terms are written in a manner that it has a negative intonation. I want to eliminate that. It is not negative, it is all positive. Uparati means you don't enjoy the outer world. Oh, तब हमें नहीं चाहिए, हम तो बाहर के सुख अभी भी चाहते हैं. अरे सुख आपको नहीं मिला है, अंदर की तरह देखिए, सुख यहाँ से उत्पन्न होता है, बाहर से नहीं. वो गलत से आप सोचते हैं कि सुख बच्चा में है, रसगुल्ला में है, इसमें है, उसमें है. सुख तो हमारे मन का प्रोडक्ट है, अंदर से निकलता है. अगर कुछ डिजायर नहीं रहेगा तो सुख अपने आप पैदा होने लगेगी. इट इज द हैप्पीनेस एंड द जॉय विल radiate from you. So whatever you do, you will do out of joy, not for getting joy. Now you are working everything, doing everything, thinking that at the end of my work I will be happy by that. And it never happens. Maybe for a few seconds you become happy at the end. And most of the time you don't become successful, so only dukkha hi milta hai, sukh to nahi milta hai. But even if you get, the fact is that this we must understand, that the sukh is a product of our mind within. And when the mind is free of these disturbances of desire and hatred and all, automatically the sukha is always generated in the mind. all the time it will remain, a placidity will remain. So in that case, will you, so ये कोई negative नहीं है, पूरा positive है. In that case, you will be able to love everybody, think about everybody, do for everybody. So much of joy you will get. So it is not taking away your small joy from here and there and making you miserable. Spirituality is not like that. Spirituality gives you the whole universe to make your joy infinite and complete. Not taking away the small things away. समझ में आता है कुछ? So, Uparati means because of the Atmarati, because you revel in the Atma, naturally you develop that Uparati. These are all called wealth, the inner wealth, Shama, Dama, Tiksha, Uparati. Then comes Shraddha. Normally Shraddha is put in the beginning. Here they have put almost towards the end. Shraddha means value, evaluation. Now, why are you not giving importance to this Adhyatmikata or spirituality? Because you don't have value for it. You value other things more. बेटा का मैरिज है, सिनेमा देखने जाना है, या टीवी में अच्छा प्रोग्राम है, या कुछ खाना बनाते हैं, आज कोई आने वाले हैं. These will give you more joy. So you have a greater paisa. Money is very valuable to you. But this spiritual wealth which we are talking about, it does not. अगर कुछ काम नहीं है तो उस दिन जाके थोड़ा लेक्चर सुनेंगे, ये सच नहीं है. और कोई एंगेजमेंट अगर नहीं है तो ठीक है, आज CIRD चलो, थोड़ा स्वामी जी कुछ बोल रहे हैं, होगा, थोड़ा सा कुछ सुन के आते हैं. अगर अच्छा भी नहीं लगा फिर भी थोड़ा सुन लेंगे. That means it is the last thing, you have no value for it. So Shraddha, they have, Shraddha means whatever you are valuing most, you will be attentive towards that. Suppose you are valuing money as the most important thing, then you will always think of money, your attention will be on money. If you value Atma to be the goal, or that's the supreme, then everything gone, you will always look for Atma alone. Let everything go, all my properties are lost, everything is lost, but my mind will be for the Atma. So that value for this goal dawns in that case. That Atmarati takes you to the evaluation, because you find that the whole world becomes, you understand that the whole joy is created from within, and that is what I am. So we know, never look for joy outside, but you go on doing everything. You can do much better than others also, because you are not looking for joy from doing anything. You do out of whatever capability you have, whatever the need of the situation, you do out of your goodness, out of your love for people. That is why Bhagavad Gita repeatedly says, whenever it has talked about Jivan Mukti, after that he has said, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. They remain in Rata in Sarva Bhuta Hite, in the welfare of everybody. Out of joy they do it, not for getting joy by doing for others. That is for the social workers. They do with ego, thinking that by doing social work I will become happy. In a spiritualist, when he does the social work also, the CIRD is also a social work, but it is not for getting joy out of it. It is a needed work for the society, so do it. They do it. समझ में आता है? ये हमारे आनंद मिलने के लिए नहीं है. जब आते हैं तो सबको पूछिए, जो वॉलंटियर्स है उनको खाली डांट ही डांट मिलता है और कुछ नहीं मिलता है हमसे. जब हम आते हैं हम खाली दोष पकड़ते हैं इधर उधर और सबको डांटते हैं, वही हमारा काम है यहाँ. बट आई टेक इट, इट इज़ ओके, आई एम नॉट अनहैप्पी विद दैट. अगर कोई किसी को दुख आता है तो थोड़ा बोलेंगे कि इतना दुख आने का क्या है, इसे तो अच्छा के लिए ये बताए हैं, किस लिए बताए हैं बोलेंगे. हिंदू मैरिज में, जो हिंदू है या चली गई है, नहीं है. She said during this period she is going for marriage and Upanayanam and Janmadinam and what not, big list she had given. And Swamiji disallowed the whole thing. But she has accepted, she is not going, she is here. So, that Shraddha is the value. When we value this the most, then we call that Shraddha. Shraddha means Shastreshu Guruvakyeshu Bhakti Shraddha Nigadyate, something like that. That when whatever is spoken of in the Shastras and by the Guru, that we give the supreme importance. more than anything else. That is called the Shraddha. So when that Shraddha comes, automatically it leads to Samadhana. That means the mind remains constantly in the truth. These are the sadhanas. When these wealth enrich you, then automatically mumuksha will be there. Mumuksha means liberation. Actually, mumuksha need not be there, moksha will come. Mumuksha means eagerness for liberation. उसके पहले जो हम बोलते हैं ना, वो बेकार बोलते ही हैं, हमें मुक्ति चाहिए. मुक्ति चाहिए क्या है? हम और जन्म नहीं लेना चाहते हैं. अरे ये जन्म तब तो अभी आप सुसाइड कर क्यों नहीं करते? तुरंत जन्म नहीं लेना पड़ेगा. और नहीं, as long as I am liking this life, can I truthfully say that I don't want to get born again? समझते हैं? As long as I am liking this life, is it true to say that I don't want to get born again? You will say I don't want to get born again only when you detest life. Is it not so? तो वो खाली ऐसे ही बोलते हैं, शास्त्र में वैसे ही पढ़े हैं, थोड़ा कुछ सुन लिए हैं और उसके अनुसार बोलते हैं जन्म नहीं लेना है, मातृगर्भ में फिर नहीं आना है. अरे बाप रे, बिग वर्ड्स.